Good evening. Welcome to the 2014 PPBL Draft. First of all, we'd like to start the night off. I'd like to thank each of you for coming tonight. We'd like to thank Mark Slusher from Endpoint Creative for providing the live stream video tonight, Jim Geringer for photographing our memories, and the Star Press for their interest in tonight's festivities. First of all, I'd like to introduce to you the captains for the NBA division of the PPBL. Representing the Cavaliers, Jeff Andrews. Representing the Lakers, John Anderson. Representing the Pacers, Andrew Schricker. Representing the Bulls, Chris Farmer. Representing the Raptors, Tyler Brozier. Representing the Magic, Jaron Kalin. Representing the Hornets, Spencer Matheny. And representing the Spurs, the two-time PPBL champion, Nathan Brozier. For the college division, representing Indiana State, Bill Brozier. Representing Indiana University, John Groh. Representing South Dakota State, Jake Thomas. Representing Chaminade University, Kenny Workman. Representing Duke University, Tim Lash. Kenny Estep's not here yet. He will be representing the Maryland Terrapins, and I'll be representing the Wichita State Shockers. All you captains will come stand behind me. I forgot my favorite of the captains, the Oregon Ducks, Kaylor Padgett. We do want to take a moment to recognize a hero among us. Many of you heard about Nick Albertson and his battle with cancer, but we're here to celebrate with Nick tonight and God's healing power. So Nick, if you wouldn't mind, if you would come up here with us tonight, we have a presentation for you. We'd like to make Nick an honorary captain for the PPBL this year. I'd like to bring John Anderson to the microphone right now, representing the YMCA.
Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Stay up here real quick. If you know Nick, I hope you also get to know his father, Scott. Scott's an awesome guy, just like Nick. He comes to the Y every day, and several people at the Y were touched with the story of Nick and what's happened. And via our annual campaign and contributions made to the YMCA on behalf of the Y, I'd like to present Nick with a 1-year membership to the YMCA, so you can come join his father at the Y.
And don't go anywhere yet. We've, for the last 2 weeks, we've been having open gyms and tryouts preparing for the league. And so the captains and I got together and we decided that there's something that we could do to help Nick out. And so we've been taking up donations each open gym and tryout to give to Nick. And tonight we're going to present Nick with $1,000. Let's give Nick one more hand. At this time, we're ready to continue with the proceedings tonight, and we're going straight to the lottery. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to put the 8 NBA balls in first. We'll shuffle them around. The selections will be just like the NBA, and so the first ball out will be the 8th pick of the draft. With the 8th pick, goes to the Orlando Magic. Yeah. The 7th pick goes to the Lakers. The 6th pick goes to the Pacers. The 5th pick goes to the Bulls. The 4th pick goes to the Raptors. The 3rd pick goes to the Spurs. The number 2 pick goes to the Charlotte Hornets. The number 1 pick goes to the Cavaliers. Is that all those? Okay, keep it in front of there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do the college draft now also, since we have them all down here. You got one? Just the first pick, the 8th pick in the college draft goes to the Indiana Hoosiers. The 7th pick goes to the Oregon Ducks. The 6th pick goes to the Duke Blue Devils. The 5th pick goes to the Maryland Terrapins. The 3rd pick goes to the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. The 3rd pick goes to Wichita State Shockers. The 2nd pick goes to the Chaminade Silver Swords. So the first pick goes to the Indiana State Sycamores. Okay. All right, so the Orlando Magic the Cleveland Cavaliers are now on the clock. The first pick will be made at 6:30.
I ain't either.
All right, with the first pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the Cavaliers select Stephen Jones.
Well, folks, welcome to the 2014 Padgett Pavilion Basketball League 2014 draft. I want to thank all of the audience watching the live stream. We are here live in Muncie, Indiana, and the atmosphere is thick and expecting. And I'm telling you, these guys are ready. These guys are ready. Are you ready? Are you ready? Well, the first pick was just announced by the Cleveland Cavaliers with Coach Jeff Andrews with Stephen Jones. Me personally, no surprise. I have played personally with Stephen in the past, and Stephen, he's just a baller. He's about 6'3", 6'4". He's got tremendous upside, and he can finish at the rim, and he can also take you outside. And I'm sitting right here with Jake Thomas, and Jake Thomas, what are your thoughts on that first pick?
It's a heck of a pick from the Cavaliers. It doesn't go unexpected. Everybody figured Stephen would go number one.
Yes, Stephen Jones. He is a scrawny kid, but yet I know for a fact, that he is the first pick. So I know that Stephen is going to be willing to show his first pick in the draft and also in the league. And so we have about 1:40, and the next team up is the Charlotte Hornets with the coach Spencer Matheny. And I know Spencer Matheny is looking for this particular person. And sources say that it's interesting, and I'm not going to give out the draft pick, but I know that he's going to pick an interesting feller. So, Jake, what are your thoughts on the second pick?
I think Spencer's going to go with a big here. Needs someone to be inside and bang and get the rebound, so he has open shots for his lovely little knuckleball jump shot he has. So we'll see where he goes.
Respect. Now, Spencer, he is my cousin, and I know that he has a tremendous little hook shot from the elbow. And so I know that he is probably wanting to go big. Jake, good analysis on that. I know that Spencer is trying to draft according to, his mindset. And Spencer, I truly believe, and I do agree with you, Jake, that he's wanting to go big and then eventually work his way around this draft. So we'll just have to see, and we'll have to wait for these next couple minutes. I know that the atmosphere is still buzzing. Sure. All right, and we're going to go to the commissioner with the next pick.
With the second pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Skylar Fernie.
With the second pick, Spencer Matheny, coach of the Charlotte Hornets, goes with Skylar Fernie. Skylar, he's about 6'4", 6'5". He can play inside. He can play outside. What a tremendous basketball player. Jake, what are your thoughts on that pick?
It's not a shocker pick. We expect him to go there, or maybe another big we're not going to name right now. But Skylar is coming off a hand injury, so we'll see how the first 2 or 3 weeks play out for him.
Yes, inside sources say that his hand is 95 to almost 100% ready, so I personally believe he's going to be ready for this season. Skylar, he is a tremendous basketball player. I personally played with him in a couple tournaments. He can play inside, he can play outside, but he's got that jump shot. But his injury is going to determine whether that jump shot still lives, so we'll have to see. I know he's a tremendous worker. I know he can hit the glass, and sometimes he can pass, but sometimes he doesn't. That's just really up to his game for that day. But we will have to see what goes on for this upcoming season with the Charlotte Hornets. Great pick by Coach Spencer. We have about 1:45 on the next pick. The next pick is going to be the Team Spurs by Coach Nathan Brozier. Two-time defending PPBL champion. The pick is in. We're going to the commissioner, Rob Padgett. Pierre Sneed is the third pick in the 2014 draft by the Spurs. Pierre played basketball for Ball State University. He's got tremendous hops. He can drive. He can shoot. He's got great potential to be a great player in this league. This is his first year. And what a great pick by Coach Nathan Brozier. What are your thoughts on that pick, Jake?
Once again, it's not a surprise pick. The talks going into the draft, it was a Spurs GM, Nathan, there was going to go that route. He is a rookie to the league, so we'll see how he handles the defense and against him. Pretty physical league with the small courts, so we'll see how it goes from there.
It is a different type of atmosphere with this particular setup on the gymnasium. It is a smaller court, and so it kind of limits the speed and it kind of limits the athleticism as far as side to side. But if you can jump, you can rebound, you can pretty much play in this league, and I believe Pierre Sneed can do that. And inside sources say on this next pick is going to be very interesting. It might even be a shocker, so you never know. The Raptors are with the fourth pick with Coach Tyler Brozier. There's about a minute 45 left on the clock, and we'll just anticipate and wait on this next pick. And we're going back to the podium with Commissioner Rob Padgett.
With the fourth pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the Raptors select Steve Smith.
Well, with the fourth pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the Raptors select Steve Smith. Steve Smith was the leading scorer and rebounder in last year's league. Steve is a rather large man. He is very dominant down low, and I believe the 1-2 combination with the coach and Steve is going to work well with the inside and outside attack. What are your thoughts on that pick, Jake?
I think that's the pick we all expected there with Tyler's knockdown shooting on the outside. Steve in the middle. I think this next pick for the Raptors would be very interesting. I think Tyler goes with a hustle guy, a rebounder, someone that's going to get in there and scrap with him. So we'll see where it goes from there.
Agreed. Now, I actually know the coach of the Raptors very well. I am his sibling. And so when he's off, he's off. So I'm curious on how Steve's going to react at that. If Steve is doubled if Steve's double teamed and Tyler's just missing his shots, hopefully Steve doesn't get too rowdy and too angry at him. But if Tyler hits his shots and Steve's dominant down low, they are going to be a tough 1-2 combination, With a minute and a half to go, actually, scratch that. The pick is in. The pick is in. We're going to the podium with Commissioner Rob Padgett with the Bulls.
With the 5th pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the Bulls select Dustin Fernie. Dustin Fernie is currently playing in another country in a faraway land right now.
With the 5th pick, the Bulls select Dustin Fernie. And if I'm actually correct, that is the brother of Skylar Fernie, the 2nd pick. And Dustin, he is a great inside-outside presence, and he can guard the post, and he can also take you outside. Brother Jake, what are your thoughts on that pick?
I think it's a really good steal there at 5. There's some other guys that has fallen that I think that might have went in that top 5 list so far, but Dustin's right there. Some people say he's a lot better than Skylar, but we'll see when the season starts.
Sources say they had cat fights when they were younger, but, pillow fights, okay. Well, I was going to leave that out, but Jake, that was all Jake. Now, Jake, with the top 5 already revealed, who do you think should have been in the top 5, and also who do you think is going to fall to the Pacers at number 6?
I think the next pick coming off the board would be Jamal Wolf. I think he's a stud defensively, offensively. For a small guy, he's very strong, very quick. Even though it's a small court, I think that's the guy that comes off the board next. But we'll see when the time runs out.
Now, possibly depending on the next pick, who do you think that the Lakers are going to go with at number 7?
And that's a rough choice. I am very up in the air there. I have no idea where the Lakers coach goes. So the pick is in.
And we are going to the podium with Commissioner Rob Padgett.
With the 6th pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the Indiana Pacers select Jamal Wolf.
Well, Jake, you were right on the money. The Pacers select Jamal Wolf. What a tremendous pick. He's quick, he's fast, he can dribble, and he can jump. Now, Jake, what are your thoughts? Even though it seemed like you knew that's where they were heading, what are your thoughts on that pick?
It's what I thought would be there. It's a good go-to score for Andrew there. It doesn't surprise me at all. I'm actually surprised he didn't go higher in the draft, but we'll see where the Lakers pick next because I'm very shocked on this one. I have no idea.
Their particular coach, he's very outgoing. He's very random, spontaneous. So the Lakers showtime. So you just never know what the Lakers are going to do. And so, but that last pick was very good. Should have fell in the top 5, and so he fell. But he is with the Pacers. He is with a great coach, and I believe he's going to fit well with that team. And we are going to go with Rob Padgett, our commissioner, with the next pick, number 7, with the Lakers.
With the 7th pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Kendon Crowder.
there you have it with the number 7 pick. The Lakers select Kendon Crowder. He is going to Showtime. Jake, what are your thoughts on him going to the Lakers?
I think that's a good combination there with John's outside ability. Tall, long guy. He can help rebound. Kendon's a smaller guy, great point guard, great shooter from what I've seen in the open gyms this year. Him and Pierre going back and forth with three-pointers in a couple of those open gyms I've seen him at. So I think that's a good 1-2 punch there with the Lakers at number 7.
This was a tremendous pick. Now the Magic are up at number 8, and FYI, I am very shocked that there haven't been any trades. I know there have been trade talks, but there haven't been any trades. Jake, what are your thoughts on the non-trades right now?
I think that in the NBA side, the first round, first 8 to 10 is pretty well set in a lot of the captains' minds. So trading off of that first round is hard to do. But this second, third round, you might see a lot more trades, a lot more movement. So we'll see where we go from there. And even some of these captains may took some of those first-round players to use them for trade later. So we'll see where it goes from there.
I know from inside sources that the college division is hot right now in trade talks between a couple of the teams I'm going to leave unnamed. But for you players that are not selected in the NBA draft, just be looking to get traded every once in a while. So the next possible pick, we do not know. We do not know, but we anticipate. We anticipate. Troy Lewis, Mark Lucas, Jalen Barnes could be this next possible pick, but we just never know with the Orlando Magic and their coach. He's always one way, he's always the other way, but that can sometimes benefit you, and we'll just have to see where he goes with this next pick. There are 50 seconds left on the clock for the Magic. We'll just have to see what their pick is. Twenty seconds left on the clock. As we have loudly sped up this pick, here we are with Commissioner Rob Padgett.
With the 8th pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the Orlando Magic select Aaron Huggins.
With the 8th pick and rounding out the first round, the Orlando Magic select Aaron Huggins. And that is not really of a shocker as they played last year together. And they were very successful with the inside presence and the all-around play of the coach, Jaron Kalen. And also with Aaron Huggins being the same type of player. They just fit well together. They actually play a lot together in open gyms. Jake, what are your thoughts on that pick?
I think that's the pick I expected to be there at 8, maybe 9, with Jaron picking there. They call him Cheese is his nickname. I don't know if he's here tonight, but that is a solid pick. He's a good rebounder, great shooter. He hustles hard. He can guard big and small. That's a good 1-2 combination again. This first round is really stacking up with a lot of talent, so we'll see where it goes with the number 9 pick. I'm kind of off the books here. I'm thinking he's going shooter, but we'll find out.
We'll have to find out. Now, personal experience with that last pick, Aaron Huggins, he is a very physical player, I remember guarding him down low one play, and he gave me an elbow to my ribs, and I think I was out for the next couple of plays. But Aaron's he's just a physical player, and I believe that was a really good pick by Coach Jaron. And we'll just have to see on his next pick because I believe he is up once again. He has about a minute 30 left on his pick. Sources say maybe Brock Taylor, maybe Troy Lewis. Mark Lucas go with a big man. Stuart Curd.
Small guy. Stewart's a real small guy, but plays great one-on-one defense. You know what I'm saying? It would be a good fit there. Three of them hustle real hard. Next pick.
And here we are with the commissioner with the first pick of the second round.
With the number 9 overall pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the Orlando Magic select James King.
Well, with the first pick in the second round, the Magic select James King. Sources say that was a shock pick, but James is a hustler. He hustles after every play. And so, Jake, what are your thoughts on that pick?
I think that's a great pick there. James went a lot higher on the draft board than a lot of us captains and other people talking about. A lot of guys had him in the third round, possibly a lottery pick in the college. But right there, I think that's a great pick because all three of them have played together a lot. They have great chemistry together, and that's three guys I know will hustle every play. And it's going to be hard to outwin those guys. They're going to be a hard team to beat.
Within this league and how it's played and with the way the court's set up, I personally believe that chemistry really works well as far as 3-on-3, pick and rolls and double teams, and you can kick it out and you can play inside and outside. But hustle is really the one that breaks the ice, is the one that just stirs the cup. And so I believe that James is going to fit well with that team, and we'll just have to see with the Lakers picking this next pick. Sources say that the Lakers are wanting to go big, possibly Brenton Nash, maybe Mark Lucas, get a big man with the inside-outside presence. And Coach John Anderson, he can play inside and he can play outside. Coach likes to pass a lot, so maybe that can determine his pick on maybe chemistry, on how well they move without the ball. You just never know with this particular coach. 15 seconds left on the pick. And we go back to the podium with the commissioner, Rob Padgett.
With the number 10 pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the Lakers select Troy Lewis.
With the 10th pick in the second round, the Lakers go with Troy Lewis. I think Coach Anderson is wanting to go shooting, and he's wanting to go with length. And what are your thoughts on that, Jake?
That was the same thoughts there once I heard that pick. With him and John there at 6'4", 6'5", there's some length there. Troy and John can both guard inside, outside. Troy a little quicker on that end of it. But he definitely has some good shooters on that team. It'll be hard you're going to have to stop them from the outside.
We got some shooting ability, and I think Coach John Anderson, I think he was wanting to go with defense. I mean, they have some length on the defensive side, and some steals on the outside, and some steals on the inside, and some blocks, and a good presence with John Anderson, but also a good presence with Troy. I mean, he looks long. I mean,
I've played against Troy here and there in open gyms, not very often, but very long. Hard to get shots over him, but look at me, I'm 6'1" and 350, can't jump. So, it's a good pickup. I think it's a really good pickup there. I thought he would go bigger with that with Britton, but to match up with some other picks, but I think that's a very good pickup.
The next slot is the Indiana Pacers. With 30 seconds left on the clock, we'll have to anticipate and wait and see what the Pacers pick is going to be. Sources say it's up in the air. And we are back at the podium with Commissioner Rob Padgett.
With the 11th pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the Indiana Pacers select Britton Nash.
The Bulls are now on the clock, but with the last pick with the Pacers taking Britton Nash, what a big presence on the inside. Jake, what are your thoughts on that pick?
I had Britton in that range of 8 to 12, so it doesn't surprise me he got taken there. He's hands down probably the strongest guy in the draft. Very athletic for his size, long arms. He can get it done. It's going to be a hard time. Can't speak today. It'll be very hard to stop him in the middle and with Jamal on the outside. That's a good combination.
Where do you think that the Bulls are going to go with this next pick?
That would be Chris Farmer. I think Farmer, after taking Fernie 1 with his first pick, I think he goes small here. I think he goes with a guard, possibly a shooter. But you never know with him. He likes length. He likes to keep them all above 6 foot. So it'll be a hard thing to pick this pick. And he also likes to shock people. So we'll see what he does.
That's true. Sometimes you just never know with this coach. Depending on this pick with the Bulls, where do you see the Raptors selecting next? With their first pick being Steve Smith. Steve Nash. That would be fantastic if Steve Nash was in this draft, getting drafted all over again. But with Steve Smith, where do you think that they're going with that inside-outside presence that they already contain?
If Steve Nash was in the draft, Tyler wouldn't be shooting much at all on that team, so he wouldn't pick him. But the pick's in. We'll see.
Commissioner Rob Padgett.
With the 12th pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the Chicago Bulls select Eric Jefferson.
Well, with the Bulls' second pick in this draft, they select Eric Jefferson. I have personally played against Eric Jefferson. He is very quick on the outside. He is a very good defender. He hustles very well. Personal opinion, he doesn't shoot very much, but I'm telling you, he has a good shot. The championship game we played against him, he hit about 2 or 3 big-time threes to close out that game. And so Eric Jefferson, a very good pickup with the Bulls. What are your thoughts, Jake?
That's a great pick up there with Dustin Fernie and him there. That picks up the defense that Farmer will be slacking off there when they're playing. So um, he's a hustler, man. He may have the most energy in the gym. It's up in the air. Great team player. He gets everybody fired up when they play. That's going to be a very tough defensive team right there.
What a great pick by the Bulls. And Eric Jefferson, he just had a smile all the way down from the red carpet from the front, or from the back to the front and all the way back to his seat. Just a contagious smile on that young man. And he's very energetic. Do you think that he can use that energy within himself to use it to a basketball standpoint?
Oh, most definitely. Playing with him multiple times, a bunch, every week, 2 times a week for the last 3 months. He's got a ton of energy. The guy won't quit. He'll play until he can't breathe. That's a good pick, and also I believe that's 2 rookies for the Bulls in this draft, so we'll see how that works out.
Here we are with the commissioner with the Raptors.
We have a trade to announce. The Chicago Bulls trade the rights to Eric Jefferson to the Toronto Raptors. And the Toronto Raptors' 13th pick is Alex Lee. Alex Lee will be going to the Bulls.
Well, with the first trade in the draft, the Raptors and the Bulls swap picks. Alex Lee is going to the Bulls, and Eric Jefferson has been traded to the Raptors. Jake, what are your thoughts on that trade, first and foremost?
I think that's a heck of a trade. I think that benefits both teams there because both of those guys are very similar in the way they play. They both hustle. They both play hard, full of energy. Alex plays a lot taller than 5'11" or 6 foot. He plays around 6'4", 6'5". So with him and Steve in the middle and Tyler knocking down threes, if he can make any this year, it will be a heck of a team too. This NBA side of this draft is going to be a tough games every week.
The analysis that we're making of the coach of the Raptors is no lie. If he's off, he's off. If he's on, he's on. Now I know he is leading the league all time in threes, if I'm correct, but that doesn't necessarily mean the percentage is accurate. But I think you're right. If the inside-outside presence of that, and also having Eric Jefferson as the defensive stopper and the all-around passer of that team, I think that team is going to be very tough to beat.
That team's going to be very, very tough. You keep Big Steve in the middle and stop him from shooting all them 30-foot threes, and that'll be a tough matchup.
The podium with the commissioner, Rob Padgett.
With the 14th pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Jalen Barnes.
With the 14th pick in the draft, the Spurs go with Jalen Barnes, a 6'4", 6'5" power forward. Jalen, he can rebound, he can hustle. He is very good on the pick and roll, and I believe that the coach of the Spurs was really going with this pick based on chemistry. He plays with Jalen. Jalen actually attends his church, so he knows Jalen personally, and so I think that was a strategic pick. What are your thoughts on that, Jake?
Once again, I think that pick surprised me. I didn't expect it to be there, but that is a very, very athletic team. That covers for Nathan and his age, so you don't have to play as much, but that'll help him out a lot.
That coach is getting up there in age, but Coach Pop, as he goes by, he is all about team chemistry, and with the likes of Pierre Sneed being the 3rd overall pick, I think that the athleticism on that team is just going to be off the charts, and so we have the Charlotte Hornets with this next pick at number 15. Where do you think that they're going to go?
I have no idea here. It's getting to the point where it could be anybody. There's probably another 20 NBA caliber players left in this draft, so it's based on team needs there. I'm thinking maybe another guard there to help out Skylar on the perimeter, for the guard defense for the quick guys. So we'll see where it goes from there.
With about 30 seconds on this pick, the Charlotte Hornets have left. We can see them going small, but I can see them going big as well. I mean, with Skylar being able to go big and small as far as the outside and inside, I think that they can go big, but you just never know with these picks being in the second round that they can go either way. The first 8 picks, you kind of knew who was going to be picked, but, being 9 through 16, you just never know. They could go with an Isaac Jones. They could go with a Mark Lucas at size. You just never know with these picks. Charlotte Hornets selection is in. Commissioner Rob Padgett.
With the 15th pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Mark Lucas.
The Hornets are going big with about 6'4", 6'5" length. This is another tough defensive team as far as length, but Skylar and Mark are the similar type players. They can go inside and go outside. What are your thoughts on that pick?
I'm not very familiar with Mark, but from what sources have told me, he was, I believe, the leading scorer in the first year of the PPBL. He is very long there. Outside of Spencer, that's a tall team, and that is an inside-out team from the go. So we'll see where it goes from there.
Where do you think that the Cavs are going to go with this pick? They had the first overall selection with the Stephen Jones. Where do you think that the Cavs are going to go with this pick?
I have to think they go with the knockdown shooter, a set shot guy, with Stephen driving and Jeff hustling and getting boards. They like to play a lot of ISO with Stephen, so clear it out and let him drive and dish it out if he gets doubled. So I think a shooter's a possibility here.
Stephen's like a Kobe Bryant. He drives very well. If he sees that backboard and it's open, he's going to shoot it. And so just a little analysis on Stephen Jones. Obviously, he knows I'm joking with him. But, a comparison to Kobe Bryant just ain't too bad. You just never know. But we have about 35 seconds with the Cavs selection. They could go small with a shooter, and they also could go big, but they would have to match up with some of these teams as far as length, and it's just big boys here. You got some big boys up here. The Cavs are on the clock. The pick is in. Commissioner Rob Padgett.
With the 16th pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Wes Winkle.
With the 16th pick and rounding out the second round, the Cavs select Wes Winkle, a very versatile player. He can guard the perimeter with pretty much anybody with size. He can drive to the basket at will, and I think that can go well with the likes of Stephen Jones and Coach Jeff. What are your thoughts on that pick?
Not played a whole lot with Wes from what the scouting reports say. That it's he is a defensive-minded guy, plays hard on defense. I think he had to guard me a couple times, an open gym. He's a heck of a ball player, very good athlete. So I think that's a really good pickup on the defensive end for the Cavs.
And here we are, starting out the third round. Commissioner Rob Padgett.
With the 17th pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Weston Shreves.
Well, we're starting out the third and final round in the NBA division. Their selection, Weston Shreves, a straight-up baller. He can handle the ball at will. And I think that it's going to fit well as far as size and length. Weston's up in your grill. And how do you think that team, as it's being formed and complete, seeing that team, how do you think that they're going to mesh well together?
I believe that team meshes very well. You got Jeff and Wes as, aggressive physical defenders, and Steven and Weston ain't no slouches themselves. I've personally played with both of Steven and Weston in Columbus this past summer, and they meshed very well together. That's a hard 1-2 combo to stop. You know what I'm saying? They both can get to the bucket. They both can shoot. Great defenders. Weston, for being 5'2", plays 6 foot, but he is very strong for a guy who can finish at the bucket even with the bigs that are in this league.
Well, with the actual Cleveland Cavaliers, with the likes of LeBron James, Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, this team's starting to be formed as one of another dominant team in this league.
As we look at the draft picks right now, we still have 7 more to go, but they got to be in the top 3 favorites right now as just preseason, I think. That's going to be a very tough team to beat. Very is. 1 through 4 is all going to be really tough there, man.
With about 25 seconds left on the next pick, the Hornets are up with Coach Spencer Matheny. Where do you think that he goes? He has Skylar and Mark with 2 very big guys that both can play inside and outside. Where do you think he goes with this pick?
He may stick with the trend there and try to go with some 6-foot-plus inside-outside guy, but I haven't really looked at the list, but it's going to be a difficult pick there because you got Spencer as a shooter, not the prettiest shot, but the other 2 are hustlers. So it'll just go on.
I personally believe that Spencer's hook shot is prettier than his actual jump shot, but my personal opinion. Here we are with the Hornets pick, Commissioner Rob Padgett.
With the 18th pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Stuart Kerr.
Well, there you have it. With the 18th pick, the Hornets select Stuart Kerr as a comparison with Steve Kerr with his shooting ability and Scottie Pippen with his defensive ability. He is a great 1-2 combination on offense and defense. What are your thoughts as that team has been formed and complete?
The chemistry is going to be a little lacking there. I think those 4 guys haven't played a lot together besides Skylar and Spencer. I don't know with Mark. My pick there, though, as a sleeper of the year is Stuart Kerr. I think might be the best one-on-one defender in here for his size. I think that's the guy that's a steal there at number 18.
A great pick by the Hornets. Now the Spurs are up, and as their team is being formed, where do you think that the Spurs can go with this next pick?
With Coach Pop, we don't know here. He wants to throw something out there that might surprise you. I could see a Jeff Taylor going here with the 2 athleticism guys that can shoot with Jalen and Pierre, and Jeff's knockdown shooter. It reminds me a lot like of Sam Perkins back in the days. Big, smooth, just set and shoot. So,
inside sources say earlier today that this pick is probably going to shock a lot of people, and so trying to get some inside sources on what his pick is going to be, we just never know with this particular Coach Pop. But his San Antonio Spurs are always good with chemistry, so he might be able to go with chemistry. And so we just never know, but I know that inside sources say that this next pick might shock some people. You have about 20 seconds left on this pick. And from inside sources say that the pick is in. Unless there is a trade. We are taking time here. We are using every single bit of the clock. And the pick is in with the Spurs. Back to the podium with Commissioner Rob Padgett.
With the 19th pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Josh Randolph.
Well, with the final pick, the Spurs select a great IQ basketball player who can shoot and can pass. As a point guard myself, I personally like this pick as basketball IQ, like to share the ball, like to get other teammates involved. What are your thoughts on this pick?
I think that fits good there with his two taller, athletic guys. From what I've seen of Josh in the workouts and the tryouts this past few weeks, great team ball player, high basketball IQ. Remind you a lot of Steve Nash, like we were talking about earlier. His shot was a little off, but from what sources tell me, he's a way better shooter than what he did in the tryouts this year.
Tremendous upside. This is his first year in the league. We'll just have to see where that team could mesh. Where do you think that the chemistry is going to hit? Is it going to hit preseason, or is it going to hit week 2, week 3?
I'm thinking 3 or 4. We get 3 or 4 weeks into it, and that's when they start to click and learn where each other is going to add on the court and learn how to pass to each other and look for the open man. So I think 3 or 4 would be the week that they start meshing.
Now, finalizing the Raptors with Steve Smith and Eric Jefferson and Coach Tyler Brozier, where do you think that this next pick is going to fall with the Raptors?
This one's a hard one for me to pick because you got probably one of the most dominant players in the middle with Steve and a really good defensive stopper with Eric. Tyler outside. I'm not sure where they go here. Maybe they match up with the length that's getting drafted in that second round. We'll have to wait and find out.
With about 15 seconds left on the pick, we welcome you back to the podium with Commissioner Rob Padgett.
With the 20th pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the Toronto Raptors select Ryan Eastep.
Well, with the Raptors' last pick in the NBA division, son of college coach Kenny Eastep with Ryan Eastep. What are your thoughts on this pick?
Very good defender and length for a young guy. Shoots very well. I had him 22 to the first round, the lottery pick in the college side, but that's not a bad pick there either. Heck of a ball player with that group of guys. A good shooter to help out with Steve in the middle and Tyler outside too.
Having played with Coach Tyler Brozier in the past, it's good to have another shooter because when he's knocking down and the double teams come, it's always good to have another shooter or another slasher to have with him. And so finalizing the Raptors, where do you think that they fall in the top 4, top 5, top 6 in the NBA division?
I think they're up here in the top 4. You know what I'm saying? I can't really put them in between 2, 3, or 4, in that range. It's hard for the guys to stop Steve in the middle. Very dominant player, 25-15 type of guy, even at his age. But that's going to be a tough team too. You can't double team Steve if Tyler's actually hitting some shots.
And so when Coach Tyler Brozier needs that substitution, it's always good to have another shooter with Steve. And so I believe that was a really good pick by the coach. Where do you think that the Bulls can go with their final pick?
Chris Farmer's the captain there. We have no idea what he will do. He likes to shock people just like Coach Pop. So this will be a surprise no matter who it is.
And the pick is in. We welcome you back to the podium with Commissioner Rob Padgett.
With the 21st pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the Chicago Bulls select Jeff Taylor.
With finalizing the Bulls pick, they select Jeff Taylor, big smooth, with a really good jump shot. And if he gets you on that pump fake, he can easily take you on the inside. But he's got such a smooth jump shot, easily a top 5 shooter in this league. Where do you think that the Bulls fall in this draft?
I think it's a pretty good team, but that captain there, it's a little bit of a defensive liability. So it's not the strongest defensive team there with the Bulls, but I think it's a good group of guys, and they'll rank in the top 5, maybe 5, 6 when the season's over.
Do you think that the inside-outside presence that the Bulls contain could benefit them as far as lack on defense, and maybe their offense could really help their defense?
I just don't see them as an explosive offensive team. They're going to have to really bust their butts on defense. They're going to have to get everybody involved in that. Alex Lee and Dustin's going to help carry Farmer through the league this year, so it'll be good.
Well, even with the liability that the Bulls contain in their captain, I believe that they could have a good group of players that could actually help carry their coach. But with the Pacers picking this next pick with about 45 seconds, where do you think that the Pacers are going to go?
All the talks pre-draft this year, no one really knows where Andrew's picking. So we don't know. He has a couple friends in the draft pool, but we're really shocked. I don't have no idea where he's going to pick here. We'll find out. If I had to pick, maybe Evan Patterson. We don't know.
Where do you think that his team's going to fall with about 20 seconds left on this pick? Where do you think that his team is going to fall, being formed up at this point?
With Jamal and Britton there, they rank right there above the Bulls, I would say, 5-ish, 4-ish in that range. But this is all preseason. We'll have to see how that chemistry evolves with all 3 of them.
And the pick is in for the Pacers. We welcome you to the podium with Commissioner Rob Padgett.
With the 22nd pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the Indiana Pacers select Brad Bales.
Well, with the Pacers rounding out their picks, they go with Brad Bales, a personal friend of the coach, but he is a tremendous basketball player. He likes to hustle. He likes to rebound. Some comparisons to Chris Anderson, the Birdman, minus all the tattoos. But where do you think that the Pacers are forming up now with that last pick? Where do you think that they mesh offense and defense?
I think it's too early to tell for the Pacers. I think that group of guys haven't played a whole lot of basketball together other than the captain and Brad, I think. They'll have to see how the chemistry goes. 3 or 4 weeks into the season, we'll see how it turns out.
What would you give a grade on the Pacers with their picks, going from A, B, C, and D, even F, if you're willing to give that a grade?
I don't give any captains an F here. Maybe Farmer a D, but outside of that, I would put the Pacers right around a B. It's a very good pick with the big and Jamal there, so I think he's got a good team.
With about a minute left, the Lakers are on the clock. Where do you think the Lakers are going to go with their next pick?
Once again, this is a tough pick to pick here with John. I don't know where he's picking. I really don't. So pick is in.
The pick is in with the Lakers. We welcome you back to the podium with Commissioner Rob Padgett.
With the 23rd pick in the 2014 PPBL draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Brock Taylor.
Well, with the Lakers' final pick, they select Brock Taylor, an Anderson Varejao lookalike, but I had to throw that out there. The Lakers are forming up with some length and with some shooting ability. Where do you think that the Lakers fall in the NBA division?
That's a tough team right there. Brock is I think a steal at number 23, a lefty, very strong to the bucket, plays a lot bigger than what he is, even though he's over 6 foot. I liked his knockdown shot this last couple weeks in the open gyms. I think Troy snuck in there and got a great pick at number 23. John, I'm sorry.
Where do you think that the Magic are going to go with their coach, Jaren? I mean, he's got Aaron and James. Do you think that they go big, or do you think that they go with small as being really the only team to be really small other than Jaren?
I think he's going to stick with someone with chemistry on this big old list of guys. He's played with a lot of players. So those are all three hustling, really hard playing guys. They can all knock down the outside shot. I'm going to go with some type of chemistry here. Not for sure. I got 3 or 4 guys in mind, but we'll keep it to myself.
Our sources are kept at this table, even though I'm holding a microphone and you all hear our sources. But rounding out the NBA division, I believe this is going to be an interesting pick, and we're going with our commissioner at the podium, Rob Padgett.
With the 24th and final pick in the NBA division of the PPBL draft, the Orlando Magic select Jared Kalin. That rounds out the NBA division. We will move on to the college. The first pick will be in 15 minutes.
Now, with that last pick being Jared, sources say that James Harden actually come to Jared for his beard, but the James Harden look-alike with that last pick going with the brother connection, I believe that there's going to be chemistry there. And so finalizing the NBA division, there you have it. All 24 picks are being made, and we have about 14 and a half minutes going on the college division, and we will be right back.
this. We are going to start the clock for the college draft right now. How you start this? First on the clock is Billy's Indiana State Sycamores. All right, we got Coach Pop sitting here with Clayton Brozier. We're going to evaluate this college draft. What an intense draft that it was, Clayton. I don't know about you, but it was intense up there in the war room with the guys for the NBA division. It was loaded, packed out. But as I look on my list, I have a top 50 power list, and I'm seeing a ton of names still sitting here. What do you think what's going to happen? What do you think, Billy? He's your father up there. What do you think is going through his mind right now?
Sources tell me that there's been a lot of trade talks with this. You just never know with this pick, but with his personal pick, I know from inside sources where he's going with one of his picks, but you just never know with his pick. A lot of trade talks, as I've been walking up and down, have been going between 4 or 5 different teams, so it's really up in the air whether this pick's going to be traded or whether he's going to be able to get this pick in.
I agree. I have heard the rumors. They were going around that there's There, you may hear of a lot of trades in the college division this year. I'm interested in seeing on who goes where, and this thing is still wide open with talent of players here. I know if this was 10 years ago, Clayton Billy's team would be one of the toughest teams to beat, but that was 10 years ago. Billy's got older over the years, and so now he's just basing off of his mindset, his knowing of the game. So I know he's going to be looking for talent of players. So I'm curious to see what he does. Does he keep it or does he trade it? Does he go after maybe the 8 and 9 or the 7 or the 6 pick? I'm curious to see what's going to take place. We got a minute 8 seconds left. It's intense down here.
Just to follow up on what you said about his athletic ability, being 44 years old now, and also being an heir of him. I know that he's getting rusty, but just playing pickup basketball with him, he can still shoot. He's still rough on the inside, but he can't jump. He has a hard time waking up in the morning. He's got arthritis flowing in his veins, but I just know that with this pick, he could have something up his sleeve. Hopefully he goes athletic. Hopefully he goes big just to make up for his lack of athleticism. But the basketball IQ that he contains is unmatched of anybody within this room. He is a coach. He is a Hall of Fame basketball player, and he is a Hall of Fame father. So you just never know with this pick.
That's true. With 13 seconds left on the clock, I know you've really sold Billy to all these guys that they really want to play with this crippled old man with arthritis. But saying that all, Billy, some people don't know. Some people don't realize he was on the 1987 Muncie Central Bearcats. Some people don't realize that, but he's still got the IQ. Here we go. The draft pick is in. Welcome, Commissioner Rob Padgett.
We have a trade to announce. The Indiana State Sycamores have traded the number 1 pick to the Indiana Hoosiers for the number 8 pick. So with the number 1 pick in the college draft for the 2014 PPBL, the Indiana Hoosiers select Sean Gephardt.
Well, to start off the draft in the college division, what a shocker with a trade with Indiana State and Indiana moving from 1 to 8. Strategically, this might have benefited both teams, but some wheeling and dealing has been going on between these two teams. What are your thoughts on what just happened?
I'm shocked. I agree with the deal. It only benefits Bill, and it definitely benefits John. In my opinion, John is probably one of the greatest shooters, spot-up shooters I've ever played with, so it only is right to pick up a dominant inside player like Sean Gephardt. What's interesting to me, Clayton, is I have Sean Gephardt on my 14th pick as the top on my top 50 picks. He's the 14th in talent. So what a steal that John Groh gets at the 25th pick. Amazing to me. I'm really looking forward. As I'm looking on the board, I notice we have Chaminade coming up next, which was known as Little Tink Tink last year. Very interesting. I think some people are predicting who he is picking. It might be a shocker to some. I did hear rumors up there that if you think his name may start with Workman, you might be wrong. I've been hearing it. What? Yes, I hear that. What do you think about that?
Inside sources, we are getting it straight up. And so with this pick, you just never know with Coach Kenny, with Chaminade, also known as Little Tink Tink. But with this pick, I really don't know. Maybe he could go with family. Maybe he can go with size. Maybe he can go with shooting ability. It's up in the air. Maybe a Matt Reese.
Yes.
Maybe, I don't know, a Jimmy Bird.
Yes.
You just never know.
What some people don't realize, Jimmy Bird last year was a top 9 pick. This year he can only play Wednesdays only. That would be a very interesting pick. Jimmy Bird's known, I think he's one of the only few guys to ever score 50 points in one game. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's got the highest score in one game, 52 if to be correct. So how many people can turn around and say, I can score 52 points in a basketball game? Not many. So it would be interesting on who Kenny Workman goes with, or excuse me, the Chaminade, whatever their last names are. Very interesting. We got 36 seconds on the clock. You know, as I look down the list, Clayton, we've got some phenomenal basketball players here. Just looking at the top, we got Isaac Jones, a top 5 pick last year. We still got Jimmy Bird, Matt Reese in the mix. We got even a Ralph Eckford. This is amazing that these guys are still around. Amazing to me. What do you think about some of these guys with 13 seconds left on the clock?
Just the type of talent, just to follow up on your question, just the type of talent that is in this league, in this draft is unmatched. I have never seen anything like it, going from the NBA and the players still left on the board going into the college. It's just fantastic just to see just the type of talent that's being held. And sources say that the pick is in, and we're going with Commissioner Rob Padgett.
With the second pick in the 2014 college division of the PPBL draft, the Chaminade Silver Swords select Nate Workman.
Oh, with the commissioner.
Deputy Commissioner Kaylor Padgett will be making the next pick, the next announcement.
So what's your thoughts on that, Clayton? I mean, I didn't shock a whole lot of people, but, you know, some people would say, well, that's his son. But, you know, Nate Workman, we're talking about a 6'4" kid who definitely plays aggressive, above the rim at times, definitely all around. He's a great player, defensive and offensively. So I really don't think Kenny made a bad pick. You know, on my power list, he ranked 32. So realistically, he got a great player at number 2. What's your take on that?
Great pick, not only going with family, but going with chemistry. They have played together growing up, you know, being his father, being his son. They've been playing together for a lot. So chemistry with that pick. But also, Nathan Workman being 6'4", being lengthy as he is, what a tremendous defender, what a tremendous rebounder that he is. And so sources say that this next pick could be also a shocker, but no pun intended.
No pun.
But with this next pick, where do you think Coach Rob Padgett is going to go, the commissioner of the PPBL?
You know, this is very interesting. I know this is one of the most coveted positions in the PPBL. The reason why I say that, if we look over to our right, you will have a full rolled wardrobe. Everybody wants this pick. So as I'm looking at this list right here, you know, knowing Rob over all my years, playing with him for the last 25 plus years, this guy is all about chemistry. Last year he went for scores. I think this year he's going for maybe more players that will build around his game. Rob, at the end of the day, Rob is a passer. Rob is a game leader on the court and off the court. And I see Rob possibly taking an Isaac Jones in this pick right here. Why not go after a kid who is 6'3", 6'2" frame, who is a monster, a beast in the middle? So far, this is the theme. We're going after bigs, the first 2 pick. And what a way to answer their 2 picks with arguably probably the strongest player in this draft. What do you think about that?
I think that would be a good pick benefiting Rob. With all due respect to the commissioner, Rob's getting up there in age, just like Coach Bill Brozier. So I think he's wanting to go young, wanting to go big. And, again, Rob is a very good passer. Rob was one of the only person that I've ever known to average a triple-double in a year within my Dags basketball league. So Rob being the all-around player that he is, I think that he can go big because Rob can go outside, set up some other players. But Rob also can go with Matt Reese. But we got
to pick. The pick's in right now with
in.
Assistant Commissioner Kaylor Padgett.
With the third pick of the college PPBL draft, the Wichita State Shockers select Joseph Horsley.
Is Joseph Horsley here? He's not here. All right, fix this. Wow, I don't know, Clayton. We'll just let this run out. It's getting ready to beep. As we start the clock. Very interesting pick right here. No, now I'm not nothing to get. Joe Horsley, one of the most aggressive players last year in the league, shocked the world. Maybe that's why Rob picked him, because Rob's a shocker. Maybe, I don't know. But I will tell you this. Joe Horsley last year was the steal of the NBA draft. I believe this man could guard anybody. He lit the Spurs up in the playoffs with 40 points. He scored 40 points his first 5 games, but he scored 40 against me. So I'm saying he's got some skills, and he definitely shows it at times. What do you think?
Tremendous upside with this young man. Rob with a really good pick, going really young, going real athletic. He's very, very energetic on the boards and on the outside. He's got a really good pull-up jump shot, and he can also drive. He can pretty much do it all, but defensively, he is a really shutdown player. He's very aggressive, very in your face, and that was a really, really, really good pick by Coach Rob Padgett.
Definitely, I agree. You know, as I look on the board, Clayton, I notice Jackrabbits are up next. This is a new team into the league this year. Jake Thomas last year, he just missed the bubble, but this year, because of his great attitude, his integrity and character that he showed towards the league, came in and keep score. You know, some people would get mad and say, you know, I didn't get drafted, forget that league. But he didn't do that. He came in and showed the kind of character of a man that he was. And here we got him up here. I'll tell you one thing about Jake. He's a big man. I don't know that he's going big. You know, he's one of the biggest men in the league that he's hard to stop in the post. Does he go small? Does he go with a Matt Reese right here? Does he go with a scorer like a Johnny Bennett or a Ralph Eggford or a Jimmy Bird? What's your take on that with 1:18 left?
I think that he goes with a guard like likes of a Matt Reese. I really think that chemistry, a very, very high IQ basketball player in Matt, I think that would be the ideal pick with this pick. But also, you can also go big with that 1-2 combination that Jake has. And so, but my personal opinion, I really do think that Matt is the ideal pick in this particular category.
You know, that would make sense. But, you know, as we've been talking about often tonight, it's about team chemistry. If you think about team chemistry, I think Jake knows 80% of the players or is at least played with them. So that would throw in guys like Jared Lee or James Campbell, guys that he knows very well, even a Kyle Ivey in this pick. So chemistry at the end of the day, if you don't know how to play with somebody, you know, you got to go with what you know. Go to the well a few times with 24 seconds left on the clock.
With about 20 seconds left on the clock, the Jackrabbits are going to have their selection, so we wait patiently for the commissioner. Where do you think, Nathan, that the rest of this draft is going to fall off with the top 3 going? I don't know, with Sean, Nate, and Joe being selected, the Jackrabbits having their pick, where do you think that the rest of this is going to fall into place real quick?
Well, we'll get to that just in a second. The commissioner is in for the Jackrabbits pick.
With the 4th pick in the 2014 PPBL College Draft, the South Dakota State Jackrabbits select Isaac Jones.
Wow. Good, sorry. That's a great pick right there for Jake. I'll tell you right there. Like I said, now you just put 2 dominant men in the middle. I would take a guess right now. I would guarantee Jake's looking small next round. I mean, right now he's definitely hands down probably the biggest team in college division right now. What's your take on this, Clayton?
Well, with having the likes of Jake Thomas and Isaac Jones being the Twin Towers, if I speak, I really would go with your analysis as having a combo guard going. Where do you think that he could go with as far as a guard? Where do you think what a guard would end up being in the second round that Jake could even draft?
You know, it's so up in the air because the draft is so loaded right now. I mean, I'm looking down this list, and like I just mentioned, he could still possibly grab some of his friends, even that he has the great chemistry, like a James Campbell, a Jared Lee, someone in that line that's got great outside game that would only complement him and Isaac's game. Very interesting here. The Jackrabbits by far the biggest team in the college right now. I'm curious where Maryland's going to go. That's Kenny Eastep. You know, he's definitely been faithful in the past, picking friends. What do you think he's going to do this year?
I think that Coach Kenny is going to keep continuing with his theme of of friendship and chemistry. Where he could go in the second, third round pick, I don't know. But this first pick, I truly believe he can go with a friend, a chemistry guy, a high IQ basketball player, or he can just shock us like this college draft has started out to be.
You're right on the money, Clayton. You know, Kenny's the same way. He's a Wapahani man. I wouldn't doubt if we see a Wapahani player picked. That could possibly be a Tony Gawley, a Talon Craycraft, as some people would know TC foot three. Some people know him as that. Or even, you know, his son's gone. I know he was hoping to get Ryan in this draft, but there's a lot of great talent here. You know, I'm really interested to see. This is a very interesting pick for Maryland right here. With 1:05 left, you know, looking at the board, Clayton, what would you say right now is probably the best draft so far?
I think that first trade to start it off with John and Coach John and Coach Bill, I think John got that pick just to set up the inside-outside presence with him, because Sean being the versatile player that he is and John being the spot-up shooter that he is, I think that right now is the ideal team to wrap out the first round. But I don't know. You just never know with even the Jackrabbits being so big as they are. Right now it's up in the air with Indiana and South Dakota State.
I think what we're seeing here is we're following suit with what the NBA was doing. It's loaded. Right now, I couldn't pick a favorite. Right now, arguably, you could probably pick John Grove picking Sean Gebhardt. That's a nice 1-2 duo right there. But, you know, also, you got to throw in the Workman duo. They've been playing with, like you mentioned earlier, playing with each other forever. And last year, they finished 5th in the league. That's impressive in itself. So, with 3 seconds left on the clock, I see Commissioner Rob Padgett coming with the number 5 pick from the Maryland Terrapins. Who shall it be? You can sense the excitement in the air.
It's building. Welcome, Commissioner Rob Padgett, with the 5th pick in the college draft.
With the 5th pick in the 2014 college PPBL draft, the Maryland Terrapins select Kirk Castillo.
Great! Wow, what a pick there, Clayton. You know, this is a new set of group. This is a friend with Gebhardt. I believe they're coming from Frankfurt, and I know that they're bringing their talent into the Delaware County area. Watching them, I've only got a chance, Clayton, to watch them one time. I watched him on workout night. Definitely impressed me. Has a quick game, good jump shot. It's very interesting how he's going to blend with Kenny Estep. I'm wondering if this was maybe a trade in the working. I'm not sure, but definitely is interesting because Kenny usually tries to stay with chemistry. So it's very interesting where this pick is going. But if this stays with the Maryland Terrapins, I can see Kirk being a great asset to Maryland. What's your take on this?
Great pick. Wasn't really on the radar. Kind of shocked us, but a great pick, a tremendous pick. This possibly maybe could set up a trade possibility with one of the other teams, but if all else fails, we can go with something else.
Oh, but the commissioner's here.
We have a trade to announce. The Maryland Terrapins have traded the rights to Kirk Castillo to the Wichita State Shockers in exchange for the number 14 overall pick.
You know, Clayton, we kind of thought this was going to take. Look, Kirk went from being a Terrapin to a fine dress Wichita State Shocker.
The smile on that face is just contagious. He is just so excited to have that uniform, to have the opportunity to be with that particular team.
Amazing. You know, this is the most coveted position. I'm telling you. Now you add a Kirk Castillo to Joseph Horsley. You know, that's a nice squad right there. Robbie's definitely staying smaller, but looking at this, he's definitely got athleticism on his team. Very interesting because Joseph Horsley, he is just an all-around beast on the court. Adding Kirk to this is very interesting with 55 seconds left on the clock.
The Shockers are going small. They're going quick. They're going with a lot of energy on the top of the key. And just to round out his team, where do you think that the Shockers are looking at this particular draft? Where do you think that the Shockers are just rounding up.
Shockers right now are definitely one of the most athletic teams, as I said. Kirk Castillo, you add him to Joseph Horsley. Both unselfish ball players. Very interesting to see who Rob's going to try to steal in the third-round pick. I'm assuming he has to go big because right now Rob's going to have to be the big man right now. That could lead to an issue. I'm not sure. What do you think about that with 15 seconds?
That could be a possibility, but just the type of athleticism that Joseph contains, I think that he could be that type of person that where you look at him that they're small, but he's always so fighting so hard that he can get the rebounds and just make up for it.
You know, with the time off the clock now as commissioners coming down, we have the Duke Blue Devils, Tim's Duke Blue Devils coming down. Last year, Tim got the number 1 draft pick. Here, let's see who he picks this year. Commissioner.
With the 6th pick in the 2014 PPBL College Draft, the Duke Blue Devils select Terrence Pac-Man Sevion.
Phenomenal pick. I would say, Clayton, right there, that was an excellent pick. Terrence Pac-Man is known to some. Sevion, definite aggressive player. I believe he was a Southside Rebel, if not mistaken. Anybody coming from Southside, you know you got love from me. So I'm loving seeing this from Duke Blue Devils here. Definitely Tim is going with quickness, speed, just a very athletic player. What's your take on this pick?
After watching him play in your personal tournament, just the type of aggressiveness that he contains, just being so quick, being so athletic, I think that's going to benefit Tim being the spot-up shooter that he is. So Terrence is able to dribble a drive and kick out to Tim, or maybe Tim's next pick. You just never know where Tim's going to go with his next pick. Do you think he's going to go big, or do you think he's going to continue to go small with these slashers?
Well, looking at his team, you know, Tim is more of a shooter, an outside shooter, probably one of the best corner shooters, you know, arguably in this college region here. You know, take a guy like him, and he can slash and go occasionally here and there. But you add a guy with speed who can get to the hole pretty much at will. You know, that's very interesting. You would think that he's going to go big. I look on my list, you got some great big men in here. You got an Adrian Barrett, a 1994 graduate of Muncie Southside. Again, why not put the two Southside guys together? You're always gonna. That's always a good blend right there. What do you kind of think with a minute 30 left in the game?
With Duke being Duke, you can always go with Southside being Southside as far as that comparison of being that hard-nosed, defensive, in-your-face type of style of play. So maybe an AB would be great with that pick. But where do you think that the Ducks are going to fall with the 7th pick?
I'm telling you, this is an intriguing pick. Kaler, just from word and my resources from the Oregon organization, has been telling me they've got a lot of people high on their radar. I've heard them of the likes of Ralph Eckford. I've heard the likes of Johnny Bennett even. Very interesting pick. Is he making his own pick, or is your dad coming down? Oh, the pick is in with 45 seconds left. Here's Commissioner Padgett.
With the 7th pick in the 2014 PPBL College Draft, the Oregon Ducks select Mason Adams.
What's your thoughts on that, Clayton?
With this pick, Mason being such a high flyer athletic ability, I think that's going to go well with Kaler. Kaler being the bigger presence, you know, he could always kick it out, and that kick out could always open up the type of lane that could actually be there for Mason. So being such an athletic ability that he has, you know, getting up to the rim, you know, getting those rebounds, getting those boards, I think that's going to fit well. That was a great pick that Kaler had.
I agree. At number 7 pick here, I mean, there's a lot of guys on the board that are super talented, but you look at that 7th pick. You know, I had Mason Adams on my power ratings at 31. He got a steal here. He got him right where I predicted that he should go. So this is amazing. I think Kaler is doing it right. He's thinking big picture. Let's go with athleticism. Let's go with a high flyer like Mason who can play both sides of the court. Because Kaler last year showed us that his 3-point range is deadly. People forget this is his court.
With his jump shot being approved, that can also open up Mason to a lot more offensive abilities, offensive mindset type of thing. So great pick by the Ducks. Now, where do you think with this trade being established with the Indiana State-Indiana trade, where do you think that the Indiana State's going to go with this pick?
This is very intriguing to me. This has been one of the talks in the coaches poll, the coaches thread that we've been debating about. I know Billy's talking about faithfulness. He's got some faith. I believe that's probably to do with the trade. He's got a lot of thoughts toward a friend of his. Maybe, I'm not sure. But what's great about this pick for Billy, he can go with the number 9 immediately after. So he can go with, if not a friend, he can go right after a dominant player in the second round.
Very, very smart trade, very strategic trade. Rumors say that he's going to go with a very well friend in his 8th pick. But that 9th pick, where do you think that he can go with that 9th pick, as sources know that where he possibly could go with that 8th pick? Where do you think he could go?
Very interesting. I'm hearing word from one of my sources that Billy just traded 1 for 8. He still keeps his second round. Very interesting to me. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but we'll find that out here later by the commissioner. But if that's the case, I can see Billy going with a score. He needs a score. You already related. Billy is old. His knees are decrepit. He is developing arthritis everywhere. You know, there's a lot of issues with his body. So it's very interesting who he needs to go with.
One thing I will say, I did play my dad one-on-one a couple weeks ago. He can still score. He can still bang. So having that type of ability that he still contains, where he could go with this 8th, maybe
Clayton,
9th pick.
We just got word. It is 8 and 9. So
8
Billy
and
does
9.
have back-to-back picks. Here's the commissioner.
With the 8th pick in the 2014 PPBL College Draft, the Indiana State Sycamores select Mike LaForme.
You know, this is no shocker, Clayton. This has definitely been a friend of Bill's for over 20 years. You know, 20 years ago, this team would have been together. Very interesting. Deadly scorer. Mike's an aggressive ball player. You know, this is very interesting. So this is more of a, I'm going to pick my friend pick, and this is understandable out of respect, but Mike definitely can still bang. You know, a lot of people don't realize he's up there with Kenny Workman in age, but the boy can still bang and play with the big boys. So this is very interesting.
He still has his speed, still has his aggressive mentality, and not really a shocker as an inside source, but with his 9th pick, we just never know where he's going to go. It's kind of up in the air. You know, having the IQ that he has with himself and Mike, where do you think that he could go? Maybe a guard, maybe a big man, maybe, I don't know, a combo player. Where do you think that he could fall with this?
Clayton, let's just stop here. I'm blown away right now. I'm blown away. Matt Reese is still sitting on the board. He was number 16 in my power rankings. I'm amazed. If Billy could steal a Matt Reese right now in the 9th pick I'm blown away. I predicted him to go second round possibly, if third round. If we base things on talent, Billy needs talent. He needs speed. He needs athleticism. This would be a great pick for Billy. I'm not sure. Or does he go big right now? What do you think?
Maybe with the likes of Matt Reese, another James Harden lookalike, possibly a Matt Reese, maybe an Adrian Barrett, like we have been saying. Maybe he can go with a Kyle Ivey. He's a combo player. He can step out to the perimeter. He can also slash to the inside. But you just never know with this pick. This pick is really up in the air. It's unknown.
I'm shocked.
I'm shocked.
I'm shocked.
I'm shocked.
I'm shocked at the fact that I'm looking at great talent here. This is so up in the air right now. I would love to see Billy's pick here. I know we got 1:06 left on the clock. I mean, does Billy go big? Does he go after a guy like, maybe a Timber Hatfield, a high flyer? Does he go after that? Oh, the pick's in right here. Commissioner Padgett is back here.
With the 9th pick in the 2014 PPBL College Draft, the Indiana State Sycamores select Kyle Ivey.
Clayton, I'm in love with this pick. I mean, he could have went with a couple other. Oh, we're going down to 2 minutes now. We're down to the 2 minutes since we're in the second round now. I'm in love with this pick. Kyle Ivey, he's a proven veteran in this league. He's a scorer. He can do both sides, defense and offense. Definitely something Billy needed. What's your take on this?
Great pick. Kyle is a combo player. He can shoot, but I really believe with the formation of this team, coach is going to have him stay on the inside, get the rebounds, kick it out. I mean, just the type of IQ that Mike and Coach Bill contain with that quick style of play, get the rebound, pass it back out, pass it back inside, is really going to benefit Kyle because the type of IQ that they contain can set up Kyle with easy baskets, easy shots. So a tremendous pick by Coach Bill Brozier.
You got a great point there. If you start breaking it down that way, you take Billy. Billy's one of the most lethal jump shooters. When he spots up and you let him have the shot, you might as well count it down. And Kyle can produce that for him. Mike LaForme will bang the boards for him. It's interesting to see who Billy goes with a third-round pick. Now that I'm looking on the board, we got Chaminade up on the board. Some would say, right now he has potential to stay with the same Tink team from last year that finished 5th in the league. Very interesting to me. What's your take on this?
That is very possible, and sources say that he might be leaning towards that and so staying with that type of chemistry, maybe within his family, maybe within the just entirety of the team that he had last year, just could be the type of repeat that he could have last year, the type of progress they could have, just the type of success that they had last year, just being the aggressors that they were, the defensive stoppers. If I remember correctly, they held every team under 50 to 55 points except for maybe 1 or 2 games. So they were a very well defensive-rounded team.
I just got this in, Clayton. We're looking at Chaminade, and it's not even their turn because as I'm looking on the board, it's technically the Oregon Ducks' position. So me and Clayton, what? Our sources are just messing with us over here. But as I'm looking here,
I'm taking out my earpiece. You
need to find out who's just telling us this stuff. But
He's
I'm
fired.
thinking
Thank
Ducks, this could be a big pick right here. The pick is in. Time is up. Commissioner Rob Padgett.
With the 10th pick in the 2014 PPBL College Draft, the Oregon Ducks select Miller.
Josh Miller. Some people may not know him. Very big body. I believe a 6'4" frame. Very linky frame, but definitely quick, athletic. I had him on my number 43 power rankings, so he's definitely up there. Last year he played with Andrew Schricker, Tyler Brozier, and Chris Farmer. Definitely a good squad. He's a good role player. What's your take on this?
Good combo player. He can play inside, play outside, but his specialty is driving to the basket, getting that floater working, and so watching him playing with my brother, it was really interesting because they offset each other. It was really well to watch. And so being the type of shooter that Tyler was, Josh was able to open up himself to drive to the basket and just be the type of player that he is. So with this pick, the Ducks are going athletic. I
agree with you. I mean, they've got an athletic big man. You got an athletic mid-sized guy. I mean, this is great. And then you got a shooter out there with Kaler. That's a scary team if I'm looking on the board right there. If I'm looking at Oregon Ducks as my first-round game to play, I'm a little scared.
I might possibly reconsider it, but then again, I would probably play the game just because, being the aggressor that I am. But that's a scary team. That's a scary team because, you have the type of athleticism, but you also have the improved jump shot from Coach Kaler. So just like you said, just the jump shot. And so where do you think that the Ducks are going with about 35 seconds left with their selection?
With Duke, I can see you already went after an athletic man in Terrence Pac-Man Sevion. You know, it's interesting to me. Do you pass up on a Johnny Bennett? Do you pass up on a Matt Reese right now? Do you pass up on a Ralph Eckford? I don't know. If he picks him, he's the favorites in the college. I'm just saying that. I'm throwing that out there. That's coming from Coach Pop.
So the Duke Blue Devils are up on our next selection with about 10 seconds left. Sources say that the pick is in, and here comes the commissioner, Rob Padgett.
Commissioner Padgett.
With the 11th pick in the 2014 PPBL College Draft, the Duke Blue Devils select Chad Paskowitz.
Clayton, Chad's not here at the draft. I only got a chance to see him play once. Definitely, he's got some skill level. I believe it's more to do here with chemistry with the Duke Blue Devils here. It's going to be interesting. That's going to be a very interesting trio right now, as I see. Very interesting. What's your take? I know you're not sure who this really is. He's off the radar, but this could be the Manu Ginobili of the draft.
Very well, could be the steal of the draft as far as us not knowing, his skill set. But, trusting in the coach of Duke, knowing the type of chemistry that he always likes to draft, having Terrence and having Chad alongside of him, I think that could be a very tough team.
As we're looking at this, now let's talk about Maryland. Technically, this is their first pick. So it's very interesting to see what's going to happen, because if you look at this, Clayton, they got the pick now, they wait a pick, then they get almost back-to-back picks.
Right.
Very good position for Kenny Estep. Where do you think he's going on something like this?
I don't know. I honestly think with the pick that Kenny had, maybe Kenny could go with small, or maybe Kenny could go with his own type of style of play as far as chemistry, as far as friendship. So sources say that Kenny almost has his pick ready with about 45 seconds left, but we will just wait to see what this pick could be.
I'm curious if he's going with familiarity, if I can even say it. I can see this happening. Does he go with an old friendship of maybe a Tony Gawley here? Or does he go with some of the Wapahani boys here? I'm curious to see what takes place. Or is somebody going to get serious and pick Matt Reese? I'm blown away here, folks. I'm blown away.
I am sitting in this arena, in this podium, just sitting in my chair in disgust. In flat-out disgust that Matt Reese is falling down. I mean, I have never seen such impostery in my life. It is blowing my mind right now.
Clayton, I'm just going to state some facts. With 1 second, we'll go to it here in a minute. As Rob Padgett's making his way down here with the pick, I'm just going to make this statement while he's walking down. I was debating Matt Reese for my last pick, and I'm Coach Pop. Yes, that's right, two-time champ. And
Coach
I was
Pop.
debating Matt Reese, and everybody's avoiding him.
Coach Pop, that's just terrible, Coach Pop. That's terrible. That's terrible.
With the 12th pick in the 2014 PPBL College Draft, the Maryland Terrapins select Tony Gully.
Which is what everybody kind of was predicting. But this is a great position for Kenny. He's got a pick. He gets one, then gets another pick. So I'm curious to see where he goes. Now, looking ahead here, you got the two big dogs on the board. You got Jake and Isaac. What do they go with? Do they go small?
Sources say that they are going to go small, but Jake, being the basketball mind that he is, could go chemistry, could go with another big guy, a combo big guy. But sources say that that he is probably leaning that way. But more than likely, I think he's going to go with the guard, maybe with the likes of Matt Reese finally getting drafted. Hopefully, God willing.
I'm going to go out and make this statement, Clayton. If Matt Reese gets picked right here, there's the favorites for the college division.
Agreed.
I'm just saying that right now. Isaac Jones, Matt Reese, and a big presence in the middle like Jake. I don't know how you stop it.
That is unguardable. That's like the Lakers in the early 2000s with Kobe, with Derek Fisher, with Shaq, with Robert Horry. I mean, you could easily have that with the likes of Isaac Jones and Matt Reese. Matt Reese being the all-around hustle player that he is and being the knockdown shooter that he is. Sources say that the pick is coming in. I
was going to even say this could be as good as the 2013 Nathan Spurs, and when we had me, Stephen Jones, and Eric Jones, and we dominated the league. This could be that good.
This could be that good, and I just hope that Matt Reese gets this opportunity to get drafted, just knowing the guy, just the fun-loving guy that he is, the James Harden lookalike. Some say that James Harden come to him for his beard. So, just knowing Matt,
you got a
hopefully
point there,
he gets
but he
that
has
pick.
been trimming the beard, so it's not near as deep and thick as James Harden, but he's still the closest to him.
Right.
And game is very similar, so I'm really curious. Is it what we're getting? We're
Sources
getting word.
say that the pick is being
Pick
wrote
is
down right
in?
now.
Ooh,
Pick is in.
they're talking about being a shocker. Oh
Shocker.
my! Here, okay, it's coming in. 3 seconds left on the clock, folks. Stay tuned. Who's the Rabbits going with?
Welcome, Commissioner Rob Padgett.
With the 13th pick in the 2014 PPBL College Draft, the South Dakota State Jackrabbits select Aaron Drum.
Well, this is something we did talk about, Clayton. Aaron Drum is a familiar player with Jake. Jake's familiar with his game. They have chemistry. Chemistry. You can't put a number on that. Chemistry is what it is. So you take a guy like Aaron, who is a big-time outside shooter. You put him with the bigs of Isaac and Jake himself. Very interesting pick here. I'm not hating on Jake on this too much. This is very interesting. What do you think?
I think that was a great pick. Aaron being the comparison to a Ray Allen, a Paul Pierce type player. He can shoot and he can also slash. And so just having the type of chemistry that Jake and Aaron contain and alongside with Isaac, I think that's a well-rounded team right there.
Definitely a scary team. With a minute 18 left on the clock, we're looking at the Shockers right now. No, Shockers are off the clock, am I right? We're actually looking at the Maryland Terrapins. So we're looking at Maryland. This is where we got, I believe somebody broke something out there. Somebody needs to get their kid.
Contain yourself.
Anyhow, you've already got Tony Gawley. Who does he go with? Does he go big? Or does he go with who we've been saying? There's some amazing scores.
Matt Reese. Why hasn't Matt Reese been selected? I think that Kenny Estep is probably going to pick Matt Reese here.
I'm hearing sources that he's debating it right now, but it's still up in the air.
Still up in the air.
He might be going big here. I'm not sure. Or he needs to get a quick score. Mm-hmm. This is where Matt Reese fits
perfect fit.
To me, Matt Reese
for Matt Reese.
I know we're building Matt Reese a lot, but let's look down this list. You still got Demetrius Hall on the board.
Right.
This guy's arms are the size of my legs. This guy is a powerhouse player. Very interesting. Evan Patterson, big lefty, 6'2", 6'3" frame. What's your take?
With about 10 seconds left, I think that with the style of play that Kenny and Tony contain, I think that he might even go with the same type of friendship chemistry. You just never know, but it would just be awesome to see Matt Reese get picked here.
Commissioner's in.
With the 14th pick in the 2014 PPBL College Draft, the Maryland Terrapins select Matt Reese.
Yes.
This is what we've been waiting
Finally.
on. This just makes Kenny's team a contender now.
This really does. Matt Reese is such a well-rounded basketball player. He's so athletic. I have been on him all night, but he is such a really good basketball player. I remember playing him in the tournament that you hosted, and he just lit all of us up. We were so worried about the other players, but Matt Reese, being the underrated basketball player that he is, at that point shocked us and really opened our eyes to his type of style of play. So what a great pick.
Look at this. If you look at this team, Clayton, on Kenny's Terrapins right here, you got Matt Reese, Tony Gawley, Kenny. Those are all shooters. You got some scores there. I'm curious to see where they're going to go with their third pick. Does he go big? Well, I'm curious what he goes with. But looking at that, you got Chaminade on the board now.
Yes.
We talked about him really prematurely.
We have.
But you know what's funny? He still has the chance to still pick little Tink Tink from last year.
He sure does. He sure does. And sources say, as we have stated earlier, that he might be leaning towards that, as we have stated earlier. But sometimes you just never know with some of these coaches, as they've been shocking us. Even with Matt Reese, that was such a shocker to me. So I'm really shocked, I guess you can say, with this pick. So Chaminade is really an intriguing pick in this draft at this stage in the draft.
There was debates last year if Chaminade or Little Tink Tink, as we would call them, if they would play in this year's college division, he says, give me this team. I quote this. Give me my team from last year. I guarantee I win the college division. We may see this.
Such confidence, but he can back it up because they produced last season. They produced very well last season. You know, everybody was, overlooking them, but they really rose to the occasion. So with about 15 seconds, I'm really curious to see what this pick's really going to be.
Clayton, I'm thinking about if he gets Little Tink Tink, I don't know why they were called Little Tink Tink. They should have been called Little Bang Your Head in the Walls.
Right.
Because Steve Smith had 3 black eyes last year in one game. They blew my player's knee out in one of the games. I'm just saying this is interesting what's going to take place as the commissioner's coming down with Kenny Workman.
They're like the Detroit Pistons, the bad boys in the 80s, but
the bad boys.
Here it comes. Here's the pick.
Oh.
The waiting is over.
Are we going to see a shocker?
We just might.
With the 15th pick in the 2014 PPBL College Draft, the Chaminade Silver Swords select Kenneth Cody Workman.
There you have it. He's got both the Workmans now. I'm still waiting for Wayne Workman and Charlie Workman to walk through the door, and maybe that'll be his 4th player. I'm not sure.
You just never know. You just never know.
But that was interesting. I'll tell you, Cody is a dominant player. He's a big man in the middle. I've heard rumors from my sources that he's playing with a chip on his shoulder this year. Folks, you don't want to make a man who's 6'2", 260 pounds, I'm guessing, play with the chip on his shoulder.
I mean, he's a Sasquatch down low in the paint. I mean, he will rip you apart. I mean, he's such a big man. I actually remember playing against this particular man, and I went up for a layup, and he knocked me to the ground. And I got up, I looked at him, I said, no way, sir, I'm going to go back to the top of the key. And I stayed there for the rest of the day. So the inside presence that he contains on the defensive end is really going to help this team, especially with the chemistry that they have.
I agree. It's very interesting that he made the pick. I know he's wanting to stay with his family. But you know who leaves that on the board? We got IU coming up on the board right now. Already, in my opinion, he picked the best pick in the college pick, my 14th on my power rating. Very interesting pick. Who does he go with now? Does he go with the big, or is he happy with him? I've heard sources that he's got a friend that he may go after, but this friend might not be your normal friend. He's a baller.
Okay. Well, sources say, as that was true, maybe he can go with a small guard, a quick guard. And so you just never know with this particular coach. He always has something up his sleeve. Always.
Does he pull the trigger on Jimmy Bird? Does he? We're forgetting about Jimmy Bird.
We are.
Arguably, if we look on the board, I'm questioning he might be in the top 10 scoring of all time.
Yes.
And we're forgetting about a Jimmy Bird right now.
Yes, we are. I mean, Jimmy Bird, a.k.a. Larry Bird, as the shot similarity is very accurate, that could be a tremendous pick as being a shooter. Another shooter.
Hold on, Clayton. I hate it. Look, there's the Spurs' second-round pick, Jalen Barnes.
Jalen, wave your hand. Jalen, wave your hand.
Welcome
wave
to the
hand.
Spurs, Jalen Barnes. Welcome to the Spurs.
Sir. Yes, sir.
With 3 seconds left, here comes our pick from Commissioner Rob Padgett. Who does with?
With the 16th pick in the 2014 PPBL College Draft, the Indiana Hoosiers select Cameron Stevens.
Well, there you have it, Clayton. Some people don't know who he is. He was here one night, 6'4", rebounding fool. I'm telling you, he's going to definitely compliment John and Sean on the board here. This is very interesting. I'm looking at this board right now. I'm thinking IU is your favorites to win right now. That is a dominant squad right now. What's your take?
Very dominant, very well rounded with the size. I'm so overwhelmed with the size with this team. And when you have that type of size and have that type of shooting ability that John Grove, one of the greatest ever, contains, that could open up a blowout. And when it's close, you can have that type of chemistry to go to as far as having that inside-outside presence.
I agree with you 100%. You know, with a minute 13 left on the clock here, we've got 8 picks left. And I'm looking down here. I still got my number 22, 24, 26, 30, 33, and 35, and 36
The list goes
still
on.
the board.
The list goes on, ladies and gentlemen.
This is amazing to me. I'm curious, who is the next pick? I'm confused on this picks right now. Is it
Maybe Indiana State. Indiana
maybe.
State. Where could Indiana State go with this?
Where does the Sycamores go? You know, you got Mike LaForme and you got a Kyle Ivey. Do you go and do you get another compliment these guys with another shooter? Do you go with a quick guard, or do you go with the bigs? Or do you just go with a dominant scorer like a Johnny Bennett or a Ralph Eckford or even Jimmy Bird? What do you think?
As personal as this pick may be, I would like to see another big man. Because Kyle Ivey is a combo big man. He can go inside and outside. So if Kyle can stay to the outside when this next particular pick, big man could be picked, Kyle could shoot and then can also dish into the inside, get that inside-outside presence going on.
I agree. With 7 seconds left, I'm really curious to see where Billy goes with this. I'm wondering if he's leaning towards a shooter. I'm wondering. There's a lot of great shooters left. Let's see what he does here. I believe the commissioner's coming. Here he is. Boom, dong, dong. Picks in.
With the 17th pick in the 2014 PPBL College Draft, the Indiana State Sycamores select Andrew Olslager.
Clayton, that was an interesting pick for me. You know, Andrew is a definitely a shooter, smaller frame build, but however you want to spell it, but definitely a shooter. Very interesting for Billy. So now you got Billy, you got Andrew, you got Kyle Ivey down low, and you got Mike to bang with the bottom. Very interesting squad. I'm curious to see how this team does. What's your take? This is your father. What's he thinking?
They could possibly mesh well together. I know personally my father is a great coach. He is good at handling personalities. He's good at handling different aspects. And so having this type of team, you know, he's able to mesh these guys together. And, you know, Andrew, this was such a great pick. He's been going back and forth with texts and messages, and Andrew is ready to play. He's very dedicated, and this was just a very good pick by Coach Bill Brozier.
I agree. I believe Billy can mold this guy into what he wants him to be. He's definitely trainable, so I can see this taking place. Now, with that being said, with 1:03 left, we got Chaminade on the board. I believe we're about to see Little Tink Tinks Part 2. I'm just thinking of Josh Strock, maybe, which he's 36th on my power ranking, so definitely a great pick here.
Definitely. I mean, just the way it's being set up and the way it's leaning towards, I can see Josh being picked here. And we have about 40 seconds left, and so the commissioner is working his tail off up there, but
Clayton, I would tell you,
it's gonna happen.
Watching Josh Strock on the offseason, definitely his game has skyrocketed. I watched him out there at the Bluebird Days tournament. His game has impressed me. I even made talks on the live feed and the thread that we was on with coaches that Josh Strock could possibly be a third-round NBA player. So this is actually a steal for Kenny Workman to steal a guy like this in the third round, possibly, if he goes. But he may go with a score.
Pick us in.
Pick us in.
With the 18th pick in the 2014 PPBL College Draft, the Chaminade Silver Swords select Josh Strock.
As we said, I'm not shocked. But we're about to see if Kenny can back up his mouth now.
It's the
he
sequel.
said Little Tink Tink would destroy and dominate the college. Let's see if it's going to take place.
Tink Tink
I'm
Part 2.
questioning if he can do that against Indiana State or if he can do that against the Shockers or even against the Jackrabbits.
Jackrabbits. That would be a tough game to watch. That would be the great game to watch in the college division. That would be such a great game. I might even drive up from Paris, Kentucky just to watch the game. What are your thoughts?
It's going to be interesting. Right now, if I'm looking at this board, I'm looking at the college division. It's pretty even. If I was going to give a slight edge to somebody, maybe IU. I like the Ducks, though. I'm curious where Kayla's going to come up here in a minute. We got who on the board right now? Shockers? We got the Shockers.
The Shockers
Folks,
are on the
this
board.
is the last
Here it
pick
is.
for the Shockers. Am I right?
Yes.
Shockers. I'm curious. With 1:06 left in the draft here, or the pick, who's going to be playing with the most coveted team in the league right now in the college?
Who is going to get the
Who's
uniforms?
going to get a brand new pair of Jordans? Who's going to get a whole new uniform? That's my question. Does Rob go with a superstar scorer like a Ralph Eckford?
Right.
Jimmy Bird?
Jimmy Bird.
He played with Jimmy Bird last
He did.
year. I'm curious.
That type of chemistry that he had with Jimmy being the scorer that he had, it was just fantastic to watch.
Clayton, I'm going to stop you there. His team was 0-12 last year. I don't know if they had chemistry.
They had chemistry, but they couldn't produce. So we'll just see with this draft where he's going to go. Jimmy Bird's been impressive in the past, and he still is impressive to me, but maybe an Adrian Barrett. Maybe go big.
Might as well. Why not go after a 6'3" frame like an AB who can go outside and inside and only complement your other players you already picked? He's got a young squad there. He's got quick guys up there. Let's look at that squad. Joseph Horsley, and you got a Kirk Castillo. I'm curious to see if he goes for a big here. I've got word in. The pick's in. Maybe. He's
Possibly.
a commissioner. He can do whatever he wants. Oh, he's taking an extra 10 seconds. Folks, what do you think, Clayton? What do you think happens here? Does he go? Does he go big or does he go small?
I think he's going to shock us. I really do. I think he's going to shock us. I think he's going to shock us.
No pun intended?
No pun intended.
The pick's in.
The pick is in.
Boom, boom.
Doot, doot, doot.
With the 19th pick in the 2014 PPBL College Draft, the Wichita State Shockers select Jared Lee.
Clayton, what do you think about this pick? I don't know if you've ever played with Jared. I think he played in my tournament one time.
Yes.
Definitely, he's a slasher. Look at that. Look at that.
He's getting the treatment, ladies and gentlemen. He's getting the treatment.
But I'll tell you, he's a shooter, a slasher. He can bring a lot of impact to Rob's team
Yes, he can.
immediately. You know, with already having on the board Joseph Horsley, Rob definitely stayed with a smaller team
Yes.
this year. Last year he had the tallest guy in the league. That didn't benefit him none. So I like his strategy this year. Very interesting to see what happens. I'm not sure.
Changing it up, just the type of matchups that are going to be taking place, not necessarily in favor of the Shockers, but last year they had the size, and so maybe he's trying to switch it up, just like you said. And so with this pick, just the knockdown shooter that Jared is, having to guard him, having to chase him around like a Reggie Miller, it was tiring. I mean, and he would knock it down in your face, and he would let you know about it. And it was great to watch him play. And this is such a great pick. But the next pick, the Jackrabbits. The Jackrabbits. Where do you think Coach Jake Thomas is going to go with this next pick?
You know, I think this is up in the air. I think he's still got a lot of friends out there that would definitely complement his team. Look at what he's got. Two bigs. He started off with the biggest guy so far, Isaac Jones. He goes and picks a good friend with great chemistry,
Right.
Aaron Drum. Does he go with the James Campbell here? Does he go with one of the most lethal shooters possibly? At times he don't miss. Ask Tyler Brozier in one of my tournaments. He lit him up for 11 in a row. Does he go with a guy like James Campbell?
Now, we're going to interview Tyler about that particular game. Tyler, what are your thoughts about having that type of dominant performance being
Does your head
slashed on
still
your
hurt?
head?
Well, I can't really say anything. He just cracked my head, and just got to live with the results, and hopefully he doesn't do anything like that next time I play him.
You heard it here, folks. Such embarrassment that was placed upon my
18
brother,
seconds left.
as joy it was, to hear about it. But this next pick is
Or do they go big? Do they go big?
They could possibly go big. Maybe again an Adrian Barrett, just the type of size that he has.
I can't really. What?
Sources say that the pick is in.
I can't really see him going with Adrian Barrett, but possibly here. I'm going to go out on a limb and say James Campbell. Let's see if I'm right.
Could be. Commissioner Rob Padgett.
With the 20th pick in the 2014 PPBL College Draft, the South Dakota State Jackrabbits select James Campbell.
Sources were accurate that time, Nathan. Sources were accurate.
They don't call me Coach Pop for no reason. I am the czar of the draft. I sometimes can see these things. I'm not going to say spiritual gift in this sense, but definitely I do have a gift of discernment. But I was just reading his spirit. But but that being said, this is definitely a compliment player for Jake. He's already got size. He really didn't need to go big. Why not go with two lethal scores in an Aaron Drum, James Campbell? Honestly, looking at this board, Clayton, I see right there is IU's competition, to be honest with you.
Yes. The Jackrabbits have size and they have athletic shooting ability. And so that can really offset Indiana. That can really hurt Indiana in the long run down the stretch. You know, you have that type of shooting ability that Aaron and James contain. And so what a great pick. But now we have Maryland. We have the Terrapins. Maryland is our next pick. And so where do you see Maryland taking this pick?
You know, Kenny has already went with Matt Reese, arguably, in my opinion, the second highest ranked guy on my list in this draft. He stole him in the second round. Who does he go after now? Does he go after a kind of a big guy? You know, he's still got Evan Patterson out there. Or does he go with an old lifelong friend of Chuck Music? I'm not sure. It's very interesting to see who he goes with. But, you know, if I'm looking at the board, let's just say it's Coach Pop.
Okay.
You're interviewing a two-time champion right here. You know, you're looking at this, and if I'm looking at the scenario here, I'm Kenny Estep, and I've got Tony Gawley and Matt Reese. I'm looking awful hard maybe at a Ralph Eckford.
Yeah.
I'm looking awful hard at a Johnny Bennett because I need a dominant scorer like that to add with Matt Reese and Tony Gawley. What do you think?
Well, with Matt Reese having the chip on his shoulder now, you know, with this draft, I think he's going to have that type of mentality. But the picks are in. The picks are in. Coach Rob Padgett.
With the 21st pick in the 2014 PPBL College Draft, the Maryland Terrapins / Wapahani Raiders select Talon Craycraft.
Clayton, I'm not hating on this pick at all. TC is one of the most deadliest three-point shooters around. The boy can shoot from anywhere. Some people say he's probably the best three-point shooter in this draft.
TC 4-3.
TC 4-3. But I'm just saying the boy is lethal. Looking at Kenny's team, if I was to pick it apart, he may be lacking on size, but definitely not speed. What do you think about that?
Definitely not. Well, just like the Shockers have their minimal size, I think that the Maryland Terrapins went with that, but that can also benefit them in the long run. It really could. But also with this particular pick, being the knockdown shooter that he is, it really can help Maryland rise to the top of the list, maybe a 3 or a 4. So what a great pick. Now we have the Duke Blue Devils on our list. Where do you see the Duke Blue Devils with all of their picks winding down the draft?
You know, Clayton, I got resources. I heard from my sources that Duke is looking to really make an impact on the college division this year. You know, you got Pac-Man Sevion, you got Chad P. I can't pronounce his last name. Paskowitz. Okay, Paskowitz. Now, I believe that he goes after a big guy right here. You know, does he go after a friend, or does he try to really just impact the college and go after a guy like a Johnny Bennett? I'm telling you right now, whoever gets Johnny Bennett is possibly going to steal the draft.
That's a very good analysis, and just to go with the theme of the Duke Blue Devils going with the type of athleticism that they contain and the knockdown shooting that they contain, I really believe that a big man would really benefit them because, you know, they have the all-around style of play if they do get a big man. So maybe an Adrian Barrett, maybe a Johnny Bennett, maybe an Evan Patterson. That would be the ideal pick, or even a Nolan Highstand. So you just never know.
Well, the time is up. We're about to see who Duke is picking as Rob Padgett comes to the podium shortly. The pick is in.
With the 22nd pick in the 2014 PPBL College Draft, the Duke Blue Devils select Demetrius Hall.
I'm going to go out right now, Clayton, and say that was a great pick.
Great pick.
If you've never seen Demetrius play, or you've never even seen this guy, he is a beast of a man. And I'm telling you, you'd add a guy like that to the size of Duke, That team is scary right now. You take Demetrius Hall, who is just athletic written all over him, with a Chad Paskowitz and a Terrence Pac-Man Sevion. I'm up in the air who's really the
Yes.
in this. You know, with a minute 14 left in the game, we've got, what's the next team right there? Kaler's Ducks. This is interesting. This makes or breaks the Ducks.
Right.
I can see Kaler. This could be one pick away from taking over IU's ranking. I'm just saying, you still got Jimmy Bird, Ralph Eckford, and Johnny Bennett still on the board in my power rankings. And there's so many more guys through here. Timber Hatfield, Shamel Joyner,
Such talent.
Andrew Joyner. I can keep going down the list. He can take anybody right here, and it would die if he goes off this power list. The pick is in.
The pick is in.
Early pick, so this is definitely.
With the 23rd pick in the 2014 PPBL College Draft, the Oregon Ducks select Adrian Barrett.
I'm going to state this right now. That was a great pick.
It's a great pick.
Kaler, if you look at his team there, he's adding a veteran in the league. He was up on the board. Adrian Barrett was being debated as a third-round pick in the NBA because he brings so much to the table. With his knowledge of the game, it's definitely going to impact the young players of Mason Adams and Kaler Padgett. And you throw in Josh Miller, that's a scary team.
It's a very scary team. And adding a type of Adrian Barrett that can bring just the IQ of basketball to your team can really benefit you in the long run. But rounding out this draft, I see a lot of talent on the board, and I also see a lot of talent still out there. And so where do you think that Indiana State is going to have their last pick?
It's up in the air with Billy.
Excuse
or
me.
No, excuse me, IU.
IU, I'm sorry.
I was
IU.
about to punk on Billy. But it's up in the
Where do
air
you see it?
with IU right now. I would think that there may be a pick. This could be a friend pick. John's team's loaded. You know, realistically, Clayton, John's team is really loaded. He's got arguably the best player in the college draft right there. And then you add a guy like Cameron Stevens with size and power. Really, right now, he needs a player who can just complement them all. Somebody to come and set powerful screens. What? The pick's in.
Early pick. Commissioner Rob Padgett.
With the 24th pick in the 2014 PPBL College Draft, the Indiana Hoosiers select Shane Reed. Congratulations. We'll have a 10-minute break right here, and then we'll be on to the first pick of the P-League. The P-League will be like you see on the board here. The Cavs and IU will be together. They'll form the Tulsa 66ers. The Hornets and Ducks will form the Reno Bighorns. The Spurs and Duke will form the Austin Toros. The Raptors and Maryland will form the Sioux Falls Skyforce. The Bulls and Jackrabbits will form the Idaho Stampede. The Pacers and Shockers will form the Fort Wayne Mad Ants. The Lakers and Chaminade will form the Los Angeles Defenders. And the Magic and Indiana State will form the Erie Bayhawks. 10 minutes. So you guys need to look at a list or whatever. Come on up because you guys, the NBA is going to go first. All the way down, the last pick in college will have 2 picks in a row to come back up.
All right, we're about to start the P League. Yeah, there you go. We're about to start the P League draft. Folks, I think this very well could be as competitive as any of these divisions right now. I'm looking at talent here, Clayton. I mean, there's a lot of studs out here. We're going to put 2 minutes on the clock. I believe the Cavs got the number 1 pick. And if you look over to the board over here, I believe it's what's that name say up there, Mark? The 66ers. Okay, the 66ers will be the number 1 pick. And the first pick will be the captain, actually, just to let you guys know. The very first pick in the first 8 picks, that will be the captain of each team. So when you get picked, be prepared to run your team or help your team. The Sixers are on the clock. Let's see who the Cavs go with, because here's how the P League works. You will play on Mondays and Wednesday nights after the NBA and the college division. And then after that, you will end up, if you may be called up for injury reserve, or you may be called up for a week that somebody can't be here. So the 66ers picks will be picked by Jeff Andrews. He has Stephen Jones, Wes Winkle, and Weston Shreves. If one of those guys cannot make it, Jeff Andrews has the ability to call on that person to come up and play for them, and you can still play in the P League. So the potential of a P Leaguer, Clayton, is 40-plus games in one season, up to possibly.
That's a lot of games.
I would say the first round you're going to find they're going to go after the most talented player they can find.
Right.
You know, I can see that. That I can only speak for the team Spurs. I'm going after the most talented player I can find on this list.
Where is your talent left with your top 50?
Clayton, I'm looking at
Give us an update.
I'm looking at this list right now. This might have waved out a couple of people. I've got Jimmy Bird still on the board, Ralph Eckford, and Johnny Bennett. Those are my top 3 of power rankings. And I know we got a lot of great players left in this, but this is simply amazing to me that the athletes that they are still around.
And the pick is coming up.
1 second left. Here the pick is. The pick is in.
Commissioner Rob Padgett.
We're going to announce the whole first 8 picks from the NBA for their P League team. I'll just announce them in order. The Cavs select number 1, Johnny Strong. The Hornets select number 2, David Fowler. The Spurs select number 3, Timber Hatfield. The Raptors select number 4, Jason Garrett. The Bulls select number 5, Jared McIver. The Pacers select number 6, Evan Patterson. The Lakers select number 7, Jimmy Bird. And the Magic select number 8, Jack Meadows. We'll have 5 minutes between these picks.
Well, that was very interesting here. We got Jimmy Bird picked. I'm looking down my list. We've lost the 22 pick, the 26 pick in power ranking, 33rd pick in power ranking, the 40th pick in power ranking. Very interesting. 47 I've got here. Very interesting who we've got left on the board. Now, the second round will go with college players. You will be called up by college players or the coaches if needed to play. But you will be on the board like the first pick would be the Indiana State will play with the Cavs. I'm sorry. I know. Oh, you're with number 8, aren't you? Up. So Indiana State will be with Jeff, the Cavs. The Chaminade would be with the Hornets. The Spurs would be with the Shockers, I believe. Am I looking at this right? I'm doing it wrong? Billy just said I was right. Okay, Cavs are with IU.
Our sources are off.
Hornets are with the Ducks. Spurs are with Duke. Raptors are with Maryland. The Bulls are with Rabbits. The Shockers are with the Pacers. The Lakers are with Chaminade. And Indiana State is with Magic. I'm curious to see who goes here. I mean, this is very interesting. There's a lot of people still left in this draft. This is where, we got we still got, how many parts we got, how many teams we got left here? 32, 24 names. 24 names. There's a lot of great players that are going to get picked.
A lot
That's still the lineup. I'm ready to see
talent.
the P League.
Yeah. Yeah.
They did this so fast, I can't even really talk about it.
It's just, it's been happening so fast, I can't wrap my mind around it.
My head hurts.
My head does hurt.
I need some Excedrin, maybe?
Maybe.
Okay. If you're watching this live on via webcast, what do I know what you want to call it? YouTube, yes. You're witnessing history in the making.
History in the making.
We are witnessing something that's never been done. This has been fun for me. I've enjoyed this. I've got a chance to meet new players. After this year, I'm going to get a chance to meet more players and to see where this league can really develop. It's very interesting to see what's going to happen.
And I just want to say a personal thank you to the commissioner for heading this up.
Yes.
Just having the type of vision and having the type of courage to even do this, to open up his facility to random people for free is just such an awesome opportunity. But we also have the picks coming up. The draft is not over. We're going to continue with the commissioner, Rob Padgett.
All right, for the college selections for the P League. Indiana State selects Chris King. Chaminade selects Dave Burton. Wichita State selects Joseph Williams. South Dakota State selects Destry Lee. Maryland selects Chuck Music. Duke selects Ralph Eckford. Oregon selects D. Stewart. And Indiana selects Alex Ganem.
There's a Ninja Turtle spotted down here by the name of Cooper Padgett. All right, here we go, Clayton. So far, I'm looking on that board of the P-League. I'm scared of the Toros right now.
Right.
Ralph Eckford and Timber Hatfield, are you serious? That could be a dominant team in the college and NBA. I'm just saying.
Very well could be. Very well.
I mean, I have that team right there. That's my number 24 and number 40 in the power draft.
Wow.
And they just finished. They're on the same team in the P League.
In the
Very
P-League,
interesting
wow.
to me. Very interesting. It's going to be. I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to P League nights on Monday. At least I'm ready to watch some great basketball. Curious now, the college players are up again. They're looking to kind of put in a strong team to match these guys. Right now, they better step up to the plate because the Toros are the team to beat.
Right now they are. Right now they are. Just the type of talent that they have, type of athleticism that they contain. It's just it's really unmatched with any other team right now.
I can't really see the list from this far, so I'm going to go walk up that way.
I'm kind of squinting. It's hurting. It's not helping the headache.
Let's see what we got here.
Do we got?
Johnny Bennett, Alex Gannum. Very interesting duo right there. David Fowler and Dee Stewart. That's a big team for sure, definitely. Timber Halford, like I said. Jason Garrett, Chuck Music, big for sure. Jared McIver, Destry Lee. That's a scary team, actually, if you look at it on paper there. Evan Patterson and Joe Williams, hands down the biggest players. Jimmy Bird, Dave Burton, big scores. Jack Meadows, Chris King, very interesting tandem. I'm curious to see what the college players add to that roster.
I'm curious to
very
see it as
interesting.
well.
Let's go, Team Toros. One thing about Coach Pop, he wants to win in every level. P-League also, too. I'm getting word that they're coming. No, the word what? No, it's not happening yet.
Real quick, Coach Pop,
Yes.
would you like to assess your team, how you're going to approach this upcoming season?
Well, you know, Clayton, we like to take every game by game, bit by bit. And what I like about my team this year, in my opinion, I got hands down the most dominant scorer in the league. I don't care what any of them guys say up there. He is a Division I college player from the University of Ball State as a starter, Pierre Sneed.
Represent.
Yes. And so you add a guy like him to a dominant big man who just graduated from Muncie Central, almost averaging a double-double last year for Muncie Central at 6'6", Jalen Barnes. Very interesting mixed duo. And then you give me some young man like Josh Randolph with great talent, small guy who can guard the guys like the Weston Shreves, the Stuart Kerrs, and Eric Jefferson's down the line. It's very interesting. I needed to go small. I needed to be realistic, and I believe in my mind I might be the favorites to be a three-peater.
What's one team that you're looking at that could really, really give you some trouble as far as mismatches or just matchups, period?
I'm with you on that, Clayton. I see a couple of mixes in there. The Lakers are a scary team. You got all scorers on that squad. That's very scary. Kendon Crowder, Troy Lewis, and Brock Taylor. That can cause us some issue. If that's going to be an issue, I can always see the Cavs causing me some issue. Defensive player in Wes Winkle, and then Stephen Jones is Stephen Jones.
The picks are in. Commissioner Rob Padgett.
Okay, with the 17th pick, we're starting at Indiana State and working our way back up. So Indiana State selects Skylar Howell. Indiana University selects Daniel Hopp. Oregon selects Stephen Tracy. Duke selects Cody Walker. Maryland selects Andrew Ingram. South Dakota State selects Kyle Ogle. Wichita State selects Devin McWhorter. Chaminade selects Donnie Rowe. And Indiana State's, I already said that, Indiana State selects Skylar Howell. That would actually, that was at the bottom, working our way back up. So I think that's the 8 picks. Sorry if I got out of order there.
There are 8 picks left. All right, I think we're coming to the end of the draft.
The picks are in. Commissioner Rob Padgett.
Okay, the Orlando Magic selects Vince Bohannon. The Lakers select Fernando Chavez. The Pacers select Jeremy King. The Bulls select Jim Longfellow. The Raptors select Tyler Moore. The Spurs select Kevin Johnson. The Hornets select Nolan Heaston. And the Cavs select Josh Coons. I want to say thank you to everyone who came out tonight and participated in the draft process. Good night, God bless, and go PPBL.